Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the ESS Endeavour, watching Earth's first quantum communications array power up. The massive structure of crystalline lattices and gleaming alloys was humanity's crowning achievement, a gift of technology from the Drachnid Consortium, their alien benefactors of the past 20 years. Final diagnostic checks complete. Admiral, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station. The array is operating within expected parameters. Chen nodded, but her expression remained neutral. 2 decades of guidance from the Drachnids had taught her to be wary of their gifts. Earth had welcomed them as saviors when they first arrived, offering technological insights that helped solve the planet's energy crisis and environmental challenges. But their help always came with strings attached, and their warnings about responsible development had started to sound more like threats. "Begin the test sequence," she ordered, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing power fluctuations across the array. The Drachnids had insisted this communication system was essential for Earth's integration into the wider galactic community. They'd provided the blueprints, supervised the construction, and even supplied some of the more exotic materials needed. Dr. Maya Patel, Earth's leading quantum physicist, approached the command station. "Admiral, I've been reviewing the power distribution patterns," she said quietly. "Something isn't right. The quantum field harmonics are off." Chen had handpicked Patel for this project, not just for her brilliant mind, but for her attention to detail. "Explain." "The energy signatures don't match the theoretical models the Drachnids provided. There are subtle discrepancies in the quantum field alignment. It's as if—" Patel hesitated, then continued, "It's as if the array is designed to do something entirely different from what we were told." Before Chen could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Multiple power spikes detected. Rodriguez called out, "The quantum field is destabilizing." "Shut it down," Chen ordered immediately. "Full emergency shutdown. Controls aren't responding." Rodriguez's fingers flew across his console. "The arrays locked us out." Chen watched in horror as the quantum field began to pulse with an ominous rhythm. The holographic display showed energy patterns she'd never seen before, spreading outward from the array like a growing web. "It's not just a communications array," Patel said, her voice shaking. "It's a quantum resonance cascade initiator. If this continues, it'll create a chain reaction through Earth's quantum field. The entire planet could be torn apart at the subatomic level." Chen's mind raced. 20 years of suspicious help suddenly made terrible sense. The Drachnids hadn't been guiding humanity's development. They'd been setting up an elaborate trap, positioning quantum devices across the planet that could be turned into weapons at their command. "Options," Chen demanded. Patel was already working at a secondary console. "The quantum field harmonics. They're based on Drachnid theoretical models, but they're using our power systems, our control protocols. If we can introduce a counter-resonance pattern." "Do it." The next 3 minutes felt like hours. Warning klaxons screamed as the quantum field continued to build, threatening to tear reality itself apart. Patel worked frantically, using her deep understanding of both human and Drachnid quantum theories to craft a solution. "Uploading counter-resonance pattern now," Patel announced. "It'll either stabilize the field or—" She didn't need to finish the sentence. They all knew the stakes. The array's crystalline structure began to vibrate, emitting a high-pitched whine that set everyone's teeth on edge. The holographic display became a chaos of conflicting energy patterns as human and Drachnid technologies fought for control. Suddenly, the array went dark. The quantum field collapsed, and an eerie silence fell over the bridge. "Status report," Chen ordered. "Array is offline," Rodriguez confirmed. "Quantum field has stabilized. We're still here." Chen turned to Patel. "Good work, Doctor. Now, I need you to tell me everything you've learned about how this system really works. And then we need to check every piece of Drachnid technology on Earth for similar traps." Patel nodded grimly. "The quantum principles they used. Admiral, I don't think this was just about destroying Earth. The resonance cascade would have created a quantum ripple effect that could have damaged space-time throughout the solar system. They wanted to make sure nothing survived. But why? Rodriguez asked. Why help us for 20 years just to destroy us? Chen's expression hardened. Because we were learning too fast. Every warning about responsible development was them trying to slow us down. They didn't want partners or allies. They wanted servants they could control. And when they realized we wouldn't stay limited forever, they tried to eliminate the threat, Patel finished. Chen stared at the dormant array, her mind already planning Earth's next moves. Start analyzing everything. Every piece of tech, every theoretical model they gave us. We need to understand not just how their weapons work, but how to turn them against them. She touched her comm unit. This is Admiral Chen. Get me the Security Council. Priority Alpha. She paused, her voice growing cold. Tell them the Drachnids just tried to kill us all, and tell them we're not going to give them a second chance. As her crew began the massive task of investigating their supposed allies' betrayal, Chen couldn't help but feel a grim satisfaction. The Drachnids had spent 20 years teaching humanity about advanced technology, thinking they could control how it was used. Now those same lessons would become weapons in humanity's hands. They had tried to orchestrate humanity's extinction. Instead, they had given Earth the tools for its own liberation and their destruction. 3 months after the quantum array incident, Dr. Maya Patel found herself deep within the secure research facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Screens surrounded her workstation, each displaying different aspects of the signal they detected 2 weeks ago, a signal that shouldn't have existed. Play it again, she instructed the AI assistant. The strange transmission flickered across her screens, a complex pattern of quantum fluctuations that had been hiding in the background radiation of space, waiting for someone to notice. The door hissed open, and Admiral Chen strode in, looking as if she hadn't slept in days. She probably hadn't. Since the attempted quantum attack, Earth's military and scientific communities have been working around the clock to understand and counter the Drachnid threat. Tell me you found something, Chen said, settling into a chair beside Patel's workstation. Oh, I found something all right. Patel pulled up a new display. This signal. It's old. Really old. And it wasn't meant for us to find. At least not directly. It's been bouncing around the quantum substrate of space-time for what I estimate to be at least 10,000 years. Chen leaned forward. What is it? A warning. Patel's fingers danced across the controls, highlighting specific patterns in the signal. Once we cracked the basic encryption, the message became clear. It's from a civilization that called themselves the Arcturians. They were like us, a young species that the Drachnids took under their wing. Understanding dawned in Chen's eyes. Let me guess, it didn't end well for them. No, it didn't. But they were brilliant, Admiral. In their final days, they managed to encode this message into the quantum fabric of space itself, using principles that make our best technology look primitive. They knew they were going to die, but they wanted to warn others. The message began playing across the main screen, translated into English by their quantum computers. It told a story that made Chen's blood run cold, a pattern repeated across thousands of years and dozens of civilizations. The Drachnids would arrive as saviors, offering help to young species facing environmental or social crises. They would guide these civilizations, sharing carefully controlled knowledge while embedding subtle traps in their technology. Look at this part. Patel highlighted a section of the message. The Arcturians discovered that the Drachnids aren't just afraid of competition. They're farming the galaxy. They provide technology, watch civilizations develop, and then harvest their advances before destroying them. Each species they help develops technology in slightly different ways, finds new approaches to solving problems. The Drachnids absorb these innovations, growing stronger with each civilization they destroy. Chen stood, pacing the room. That's why their help always came with restrictions. why they tried to control which directions we developed in. They wanted us to solve specific problems for them. Exactly. But the Arcturians didn't just leave a warning. They left us tools. Patel pulled up new data streams. Hidden in this signal are detailed technical specifications. The Arcturians figured out some of the Drachnid's fundamental technologies. They couldn't use the information to save themselves, but they made sure future civilizations would have a fighting chance. Can we use this? Patel smiled grimly. Already started. The Arcturians' understanding of quantum mechanics was incredible. They discovered weaknesses in Drachnid technology that even the Drachnids don't know about. Their ships, their weapons, their communication systems, they all have fundamental flaws that we can exploit. And they have no idea this information exists. None. The signal was designed to be invisible to their detection methods. It only becomes apparent when you reach a certain level of quantum engineering sophistication, sophisticated enough to understand it, but not so advanced that you've been completely compromised by their technology. Chen accessed her secure comm unit. This is Admiral Chen. Implement Protocol Omega. Full communications blackout with all Drachnid representatives. Cite technical difficulties with our quantum systems. She turned back to Patel. How long will you need? To fully analyze the Arcturian data and develop countermeasures. 3 months, maybe 4. We'll need to rebuild some of our quantum research facilities with completely isolated systems, equipment the Drachnids have never touched. You have 2 months, Chen said. That's how long we can maintain the pretense of technical problems before they get suspicious. When they come to help us fix our systems, we need to be ready. Patel nodded, already turning back to her work. We'll be ready. The Arcturians sacrificed everything to give us this chance. We're not going to waste it. As Chen left the facility, she couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The Drachnids had spent millennia manipulating younger species, using them to advance their own technology. Now the collective knowledge of one of their earliest victims was about to become the key to their downfall. In their arrogance, they had assumed that their victims would die alone, their discoveries lost to the void. They never imagined that quantum mechanics itself could become a messenger, carrying the accumulated wisdom of a dying civilization across time and space to reach those who needed it most. The Drachnids had tried to keep humanity ignorant and controlled. Instead, they had pushed Earth scientists to develop exactly the skills needed to discover this ancient message. Their own actions had created the circumstances for their carefully maintained system of exploitation to finally face a real challenge. Chen smiled as she reached her transport. Humanity had always been good at learning from the past. Now they had 10,000 years of hidden history to learn from, and the Drachnids wouldn't know what hit them. The abandoned mining facility on Mercury's dark side had become humanity's best-kept secret. Deep beneath the surface, in chambers carved from the planet's ancient rock, Project Oracle was taking shape. Dr. Maya Patel stood in the central laboratory, surrounded by equipment that would have been impossible to build just 6 months ago. Status report. Admiral Chen's hologram flickered in the center of the room, transmitted through their new quantum-encrypted communication system, one built using Arcturian principles rather than Drachnid technology. We're ahead of schedule, Patel replied, gesturing to the massive device taking shape behind her. The quantum displacement engine is nearly complete. Initial tests confirm the Arcturians were right. The Drachnid's quantum field technology has a fundamental vulnerability. They never realized their approach to quantum manipulation creates a microscopic phase variance. In English, Doctor, they built their entire technological civilization on a flawed foundation. It's like, imagine building a skyscraper without realizing your measurements were off by a fraction of a degree. Small error at the bottom, but by the time you reach the top, everything's out of alignment. Chen finished. Can we exploit it? We already are. Patel moved to another workstation, bringing up complex diagnostic displays. Remember how they insisted on helping us build our planetary defense grid, the one that's supposedly just for detecting space debris and solar flares? The same grid they probably plan to use against us eventually. Exactly. We've been appearing to follow their specifications, but we've actually modified every quantum sensor in the system. When the time comes, we can use their own phase variants against them. One precise pulse from our displacement engine, and their quantum fields will collapse. Their ships, their weapons, their communications, all of it depends on stable quantum fields. The Admiral's hologram nodded approvingly. How are they not detecting these modifications? That's the beautiful part. Patel allowed herself a small smile. The Arcturians discovered that the phase variance has a kind of blind spot. The Drachnids literally cannot see these modifications because they're happening in a quantum state their sensors can't detect. It's like trying to read ultraviolet light with human eyes. The capability just isn't there. And our other projects. The quantum shielding is ready for deployment. We can protect our key facilities from any attempt to trigger their hidden weapons. The new communication system is fully operational. They won't be able to cut us off or intercept our transmissions. And the mobile displacement units are in production. Within 3 weeks, every major Earth city will have protection against quantum-based attacks. Chen's expression grew serious. We'll need it. Our intelligence suggests the Drachnids are getting suspicious. Our technical difficulties excuse won't hold much longer. They're sending a technical delegation to assist us. Let them come, Paddle said confidently. Everything they'll see will match their expectations. The real systems are hidden beneath layers of quantum camouflage. Another gift from the Arcturians. They learned how to hide things in plain sight. Speaking of hiding things, Chen gestured to a sealed door at the far end of the lab. How's our special project coming along? Patel's eyes lit up. That's the best part. Want to see? At Chen's nod, Patel led the way through several security checkpoints to a massive chamber deep within the facility. Inside, suspended in a web of energy fields, hung what appeared to be a small vessel about the size of a passenger shuttle. Meet the Oracle, Patel said proudly. The first Earth ship built with pure Arcturian quantum technology. No Drachnid influences, no compromised systems. It's small, but it's just a prototype. Once we confirm it works, we can start building more. Chen finished. How long until it's ready for testing? 2 weeks. We've had to invent entirely new manufacturing processes. The Arcturians' approach to quantum engineering is completely different from anything we've seen before. But it works. The test model's quantum field is perfectly stable, completely invisible to Drachnid sensors, and more efficient than anything they've shown us. Chen's hologram walked around the prototype, studying it carefully. And you're certain they can't detect it? Positive. We've tested it against every sensor type they've given us. To their technology, it simply doesn't exist. We could park it right next to one of their ships, and they'd never know it was there. Good. Chen's expression was grim, because we're going to need that capability sooner than we thought. The Drachnid technical delegation isn't just coming to help with our problems. According to our intelligence, they're coming to evaluate whether we've advanced too far to be safely controlled. If they decide we have, they'll try to activate their fail-safes and destroy us. Patel finished. Let them try. Every trap they've planted, every backdoor they've built into our systems, we've found them all and turned them into our own weapons. When they make their move, we'll make ours, Chen said. Keep working, Doctor. Earth's survival depends on what you're building here. And Maya, she paused, her hologram flickering slightly. The Arcturians would be proud. Their sacrifice wasn't in vain. As Chen's hologram faded, Patel turned back to the Oracle prototype. Somewhere out there, the Drachnids were preparing to help Earth one final time, never suspecting that their intended victims had not only discovered their true nature, but had found allies across time itself. The Arcturians had died to give future civilizations a chance. Humanity would make sure their death had meaning. And when the Drachnids finally showed their true colors, they would learn that their carefully laid plans had become the seeds of their own destruction. The Drachnid delegation arrived in a display of technological superiority that would have once left humanity in awe. Their flagship, a massive vessel that seemed to bend light around its crystalline hull, emerged from quantum space directly above Earth's atmosphere. 4 smaller ships flanked it, each larger than anything humanity had built, or so the Drachnids thought. Admiral Chen watched from the bridge of the ESS Endeavour as the alien ships took up position around Earth's primary quantum communication array, the same array that had nearly destroyed them months ago. "They're right on schedule," she said quietly, exchanging glances with Dr. Patel. "Status of Project Oracle." "All systems ready," Patel replied, her fingers dancing across her quantum-encrypted console. "Displacement network is primed. Every major population center is protected. The Oracle prototype is in position, cloaked and waiting." The main screen flickered to life, showing the face of first speaker Vextal, the Drachnid delegation's leader. His crystalline features arranged themselves into what passed for a sympathetic expression among his kind. Admiral Chen, his artificially translated voice carried tones of paternal concern. "We were most disturbed to hear of your continued difficulties with the quantum communication systems we so generously provided. Of course, we've come personally to assist." "Your concern is appreciated, first speaker," Chen replied smoothly. "We've been struggling to understand the intricacies of quantum field harmonics. Perhaps we're simply not advanced enough yet to maintain such sophisticated technology properly." A flash of satisfaction crossed Vextal's alien features. "Indeed, one must crawl before walking, Admiral. We've observed that species who advance too quickly often suffer unfortunate accidents. But don't worry, we're here to help ensure that doesn't happen to humanity." Speaking of accidents, Chen's voice remained casual. "We've been reviewing the quantum array systems. Our engineers found some interesting power distribution patterns. Perhaps you could explain their purpose." For a fraction of a second, Vextal's crystalline features froze. "I'm sure your engineers are simply misinterpreting the data. Quantum technology can be quite complex for younger races. If you'll allow our technical team to access your systems directly." "Of course." Chen nodded to Patel, who initiated a connection to the Drachnid ships. "We've prepared full access to our quantum network. Please, feel free to examine everything." The trap was baited. Chen watched as the Drachnids began interfacing with Earth's systems, their quantum probes spreading through the network like digital tendrils. They would find exactly what they expected: a primitive civilization struggling with advanced technology, complete with all the hidden weapons they had planted over the years. "Fascinating," Vextal commented, his attention clearly focused on the data streams. "Your systems are in worse disarray than we feared. For your own safety, we should probably assume direct control temporarily, just to prevent any dangerous quantum field fluctuations." "If you think that's best," Chen agreed. "Though I am curious about one thing, first speaker. In all our years of partnership, why didn't you tell us about the Arcturians?" The change in Vextal was instant. His crystalline features sharpened, all pretense of benevolence vanishing. "What did you say?" "The Arcturians. The civilization you destroyed 10,000 years ago. The ones who left us a message hidden in the quantum fabric of space itself. They had some fascinating insights about your technology." "Impossible," Vextal snarled. "You couldn't possibly." He cut himself off, but it was too late. "Quantum cascade initiated," Patel announced. "They're trying to activate every piece of their technology on Earth simultaneously." "As expected," Chen said calmly. "Execute Operation Oracle." Across the Earth, hidden quantum displacement engines hummed to life. The Oracle prototype cloaked directly beside the Drachnid flagship, its Arcturian technology sending precise pulses through space-time itself. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Drachnid's quantum fields began to collapse, their carefully maintained phase variance becoming their undoing. Their ship's crystalline hulls grew dark as power systems failed. Their weapons, primed to destroy Earth, sputtered and died. What? What have you done? Vextal's image flickered as his ship's systems failed. We learned, Chen replied. From you, from the Arcturians, from every civilization you've destroyed. We learned that your help always comes with a price, that your guidance is just another form of control. And we learned how to turn your own technology against you. You can't possibly understand. But we do understand, first speaker. We understand that you've spent millennia keeping younger civilizations weak, harvesting their innovations while ensuring they never become strong enough to challenge you. We understand that you saw us as nothing more than another crop to cultivate and eventually destroy. The Drachnid ships hung powerless in space, their quantum fields completely collapsed. Earth's modified defense grid held them in place with gravitic fields based on Arcturian principles. You should have heeded your own warnings about developing too quickly, Chen continued. While you were watching us struggle with your outdated technology, we were learning from those who came before. The Arcturians died to give future civilizations a chance against you. We're here to make sure their sacrifice meant something. This changes nothing, Vextal spat. We are not the only ones. The consortium will. We'll learn that their technology isn't as superior as they thought, that their carefully maintained dominance has a fatal flaw, and that humanity isn't going to be their next victim. Chen nodded to Patul, who transmitted a signal through their quantum network. Across Earth, hidden facilities began powering up, revealing technology that merged human innovation with Arcturian principles. This is your only warning, first speaker. Leave Earth space. Tell your consortium that humanity is not to be trifled with. And know that if you ever try to do to another developing civilization what you tried to do to us. She gestured to the Oracle prototype, its hull gleaming with power that the Drachnids couldn't even detect until it was too late. We'll be watching, and we'll be ready. 1 year after the Drachnid confrontation, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of humanity's first deep space installation, watching ships come and go through the quantum apertures that dotted the space around Europa. The massive station, built using a combination of human ingenuity and Arcturian principles, served as both a beacon and a warning to the galaxy at large. The Centauri delegation is ready for you, Admiral, Dr. Patil announced, joining her at the window. The physicist had traded her lab coat for a diplomatic uniform, though she still carried her ever-present quantum scanner. How many does this make now? Chen asked, turning from the view. 17 species in the past year alone, all of them at various stages of development, all of them previously marked for guidance by the Drachnid Consortium. Patil smiled. The Centauri are particularly interesting. They managed to hide their true technological progress from the Drachnids for decades, developing their own theories about quantum mechanics in secret. They walked together through the station's curved corridors, passing crews of both human and alien personnel. The station had become a symbol of a new way forward, one where developing civilizations could grow without the threat of exploitation hanging over them. Latest intelligence from the consortium? Chen asked as they approached the diplomatic chamber. Still in chaos. Turns out we weren't the only ones to find the Arcturian message, just the first to successfully act on it. When we exposed the Drachnids' true nature and the fundamental flaw in their technology, it triggered a cascade of revelations across the galaxy. Dozens of species they were guiding have broken free. The diplomatic chamber doors slid open, revealing a group of tall, elegant beings with iridescent skin. The Centauri representatives rose as Chen and Patil entered, their movements carrying a grace that spoke of their species' ancient culture. Admiral Chen, the lead delegate, spoke, their translator rendering their musical language into clear English. We come seeking not just alliance, but understanding. Your victory over the Drachnids has shown us that resistance is possible, but we would learn how you achieved what so many others could not. Chen gestured for them to be seated. The truth is, we didn't do it alone. We had help from the past. The Arcturians' warning and technical data were crucial. But more importantly, we had something the Drachnids never expected. The willingness to question everything, even help that seemed genuine. And now, Another delegate asked. Your technology, your understanding of quantum mechanics, it surpasses even what the Drachnids thought they knew. You could easily take their place, become the new shepherds of developing worlds. That's exactly why we won't, Patel interjected. We remember what it was like to be controlled, to have our development artificially limited. Humanity's role isn't to guide or control, it's to protect and collaborate. Chen nodded. That's why we built this station, why we're sharing our quantum displacement technology with species that prove they can use it responsibly. Every civilization develops differently, finds unique solutions to universal problems. True progress comes from collaboration, not control. The lead Centauri delegate's skin rippled with colors that their cultural attaché had explained indicated deep emotion. You offer protection without demanding submission, knowledge without control. Why? Because that's what the Arcturians tried to do for us, Chen replied. They couldn't save themselves, but they made sure their knowledge would help others. We're just continuing their legacy. Patel brought up a holographic display showing the known galaxy, with points of light indicating developing civilizations. Every species brings something unique to the table. The Centauri's grasp of quantum harmonics, for instance, has already helped us improve our displacement engines. Together, we're building something the Drachnids never could. A true community of equals. And what of the consortium? A Centauri asked. They still possess vast resources, many client species who remain loyal out of fear or ignorance. That's why our work is just beginning, Chen said. The Oracle network is expanding. Every day, more civilizations discover the Arcturian message. More species break free from consortium control. And each one brings new knowledge, new perspectives, new ways of thinking that make us all stronger. She gestured to the station around them. This installation isn't just a defense platform or a diplomatic center. It's a promise to every developing civilization in the galaxy. A promise that they don't have to face the darkness alone, that there's an alternative to submission or destruction. The meeting continued for hours, covering everything from technical cooperation to cultural exchange. When it was over, Chen returned to the observation deck, Patel at her side. The Centauri shipyards will be operational within 6 months, Patel reported. Their quantum engineering combined with our displacement technology. The ships they're designing will be unlike anything the galaxy has seen. Good. We'll need them. Chen watched as a new ship emerged from the quantum aperture, an Oracle-class vessel, its hull gleaming with the combined achievements of multiple civilizations. The Drachnids spent millennia ensuring no single species could challenge them. They'd never considered what would happen if those species started working together. Speaking of challenges, Patel checked her quantum scanner. Long-range sensors are picking up unusual activity at the edge of consortium space. It looks like they're gathering their forces. Chen smiled. Let them come. Humanity isn't the same naive species they found 2 decades ago. And we're not alone anymore. As if to emphasize her point, ships of various designs moved through the space around Europa. Human vessels with their sleek efficiency, Centauri craft with their organic curves, and dozens of other styles representing civilizations that had chosen to stand together rather than submit to consortium control. The Drachnids had tried to keep humanity weak and isolated. Instead, they had created the very thing they had spent millennia trying to prevent. A galaxy where developing civilizations could reach for the stars without fear, guided not by control, but by cooperation. The age of the consortium was ending. And in its place, something new was rising. A future built not on dominance and fear, but on the shared dreams of 1,000 worlds reaching for the stars together.